Hey peeps, welcome back. We are talking Tiffany Henyard, the super mayor of Dalton and Thornton Township.
You going to jail. The FBI came and raided this place. You can keep lying on TikTok and everything else and saying you ain't get raided, but you did get raided. The nerve of you all to put your in front of us when you disrespect us today.
She's going to jail. Okay, I don't know why she's not in jail yet. I have no idea what the heck is holding up this FBI investigation. I also don't know why the governor of Illinois has not stepped in and done anything. This just makes no sense to me. This woman should be out on her ruthless ass, but she's still sitting in office, still spending the town's money. It's disgusting.
Several new developments in South suburban Dalton today. First, the state comptroller has suspended some payments to the village because it has failed to follow the law by providing financial reports. That was just today. The comptroller says that she's concerned following our reporting on allegations of mismanagement in Dalton. The decision means that the village won't receive $135,000 this year that the state usually transfers to communities for unpaid traffic, parking citations, and other judgments. And that's not all that's happening in Dalton today.
Are you in charge? Who's in charge?
And a power struggle is also playing out.
It's a police standoff, but it's unlike any you've seen. It's unclear exactly who is running the police department and the rest of the village as Mayor Tiffany Henyard struggles to show that she's still in control. Ben Bradley continues his exclusive reporting from Dalton.
Is there a motion to terminate Keith Freeman?
Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard tried to fire her top aide last week, but was met with silence from trustees who refused to vote on the termination.
This what y'all say about the person. Y'all say he's never at work, he'll do his job. Is this what y'all say? So what we doing, guys?
The standoff is surprising given that trustees once despised Village Administrator Keith Freeman for helping Henyard run the show in Dalton and Thornton Township, but he's now cooperating with trustees investigating Henyard's spending.
I had trouble following it as well, but now Keith Freeman is cooperating, doing what he should have been done in the first place.
Cooperating with trustees.
With the trustees, absolutely, doing his job.
That leads us back here to the steps of the Dalton Police Department. Trustees tried to fire Henyard's hand-picked acting police chief, Louis Lacey, after their investigation found he collected $200,000 in overtime that they say he wasn't entitled to. Mayor Henyard wasn't having it. She insists Lacey is still the village's top cop.
Dalton police officers and commanders received an email summoning them to a mandatory meeting with Mayor Henyard and Chief Lacey. Soon after, Freeman fired off a reply that read, Louis Lacey is no longer employed by the village of Dalton. Mr. Lacey is not allowed in any spaces reserved for employees without an escort.
We'd like to talk to you about whether you're still running things here in Dalton.
Lacey arrived for the hastily called meeting, but sat in his souped-up Dodge Durango.
I think we're in a standoff.
As the minutes ticked by, Lacey drove around looking for a way into the station.
So somebody closed the garage on the acting chief, and now he's pulling away.
Then it was time to play hide and seek with Mayor Henyard as she circled the station looking to avoid our cameras and questions.
For more than a half an hour now, we've been playing this cat and mouse game with the acting police chief and now Mayor Henyard.
Lacey later returned, but still wasn't talking.
Are you in charge? Who's in charge?
WGN Investigates obtained video of Henyard telling police commanders this afternoon she and Lacey are still running things.
Keith Freeman do not work here, he's fired. So stop playing these silly games, Board of Trustees, and putting people's lives in jeopardy.
Do what you want. But anything after this is insubordination.
Mayor Henyard is now trying to pin the blame for more than $100,000 in questionable spending on first-class air travel, luxury hotels, meals, and more on her once trusted aide, Keith Freeman. But remember, Henyard frequently reminds her critics she's the boss.
I'm going to remember this, because at the end of the day, I told you, you guys don't run the day-to-day, the mayor does.
Both Freeman and Acting Police Chief Lacey are facing pressure to cooperate in the ongoing federal investigation after prosecutors charged both of them with bankruptcy fraud in separate cases. As the power play plays out, it's residents who suffer. Many voice their frustrations at the most recent village board meeting.
What about us? our tax dollars. I wish the FBI is around the corner so they can come and raid this place, because all of y'all deserve to go to jail.
In Dalton, Ben Bradley, WGN Investigates.
I don't care what they say. This is not careless spending. This is pure and simple embezzlement. Blows my mind that no one has come in to do anything. It's almost as if this is just normal in the state of Illinois. I just ran across a news report of another town mayor in Illinois who they say is worse than Tiffany. I'm going to do a little more research on this guy to find out what the hell is going on with him and his town. But I hear there's protest. He's holding up people from being able to receive their permits for their businesses and churches. I have no idea who this guy is, but I'm going to look into it. One thing that I keep thinking about is with the amount of money that she has, in my opinion, embezzled. I'm going to say allegedly because I don't want anybody trying to sue me. I have nothing. Don't even think about it. Anyway, it will take decades for the people of Dalton and Thornton Township to recover from this. They are going to have to absolutely continue to raise taxes on the people who don't have much anyway in order to recover from this.
Taxpayers are on the hook for tens of thousands of dollars more in travel costs for Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard and her administration.
It comes after WGN sued the village for refusing to turn over financial records as required by law. A judge sided with WGN. Investigative reporter Ben Bradley shows what those records reveal.
For a year now, we've been reporting on questionable spending by a South suburban politician named Tiffany Henyard. But we only knew half the story because we only had records from one of the two governments she runs. Now we can show you the real toll her travel is taking on taxpayers.
The self-proclaimed super mayor is a prolific poster on social media, but what she rarely publicizes are her travels, trips frequently paid for by taxpayers.
If you want to have a good time, spend your own dime.
Despite being a trustee, this is the first time Tammy Brown has been able to see the village's credit card statements, records we had to get through a judge's order.
When you see things like this, it's like a punch in the gut.
Last January, we told you Tiffany Henyard and her entourage racked up more than $67,000 in travel-related charges in just 5 months. But that's just what was charged to Thornton Township credit cards, where she's the supervisor. When you add in what was billed to Dalton, trips for Mayor Henyard and her entourage cost taxpayers more than $100,000. We questioned Henyard about travel last fall.
I do not handle anything as relates to with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas? What is that?
No comment.
You don't know if you were in Las Vegas?
Of course I do.
Were you?
It's not paid by them.
Did you fly first class to Las Vegas?
Any other questions?
When Henyard hits the road, she and other village and township officials do so in style. Records show they often fly first class, pay for upgrades. They've stayed at luxury hotels, including the Four Seasons, and dine at steakhouses.
Oh my God. When you just see these things.
Let's look at one trip to Austin, Texas in July of last year. 5 people, including Mayor Henyard, for 5 days. While we previously reported the township was billed $27,000, we now know the actual cost was more than $47,000 when you factor in what Dalton taxpayers were charged. It includes nearly $1,000 spent at an Austin Walgreens and a sports riding apparel store. The only explanation for any of the travel was that it was to attend a conference.
I'm sure you guys had an awesome time on the backs of taxpayers, but what do we gain from any of these trips? We gain nothing.
Trustees say they've been demanding explanations for months.
You the ones that's costing the village money. I don't have that call. All right. Okay.
But Henyard and her team refused to share the credit card records.
We were never allowed to get those statements. So this is the reason why you hid it from us, because definitely we will have questions.
Mayor Henyard is in a situation where she
feels like she's under attack, because she is.
Bo Brindley is Henyard's criminal defense attorney, hired after the FBI served subpoenas on the village and township earlier this year. He blames Henyard's top aide, Keith Freeman.
Keith Freeman made the decision on how these funds are being used. Keith Freeman is going on these trips. You understand, this is a new mayor. This is someone that is new to this job.
But she never thought, hey, I shouldn't fly first class. I shouldn't stay at the Four Seasons.
If there was a problem with any of that, if that's not how you're supposed to do it, she relied on Freeman to tell her. He's telling her this is how we do things.
How things were done in Dalton is costing taxpayers dearly. Records we obtained show the village leased 3 luxury SUVs for Henyard's use at a cost to residents of more than $374,000.
The mayor didn't spend any of this money. Keith Freeman made decisions and reported to the mayor, this is what we're doing. The mayor trusted him until she didn't.
About that. This is me talking to people that understand business, that understand finance.
Back to those Dalton credit cards. They include nearly $25,000 charged in 5 months without explanation to places like Walmart, Target, and Jewel. There was $5,000 spent at local restaurants and Uber Eats. And Tiffany Henyard's personal photographer charged the village $3,400.
What I think is interesting about this case, this story, is you can be highly legal and unethical at the same time.
Kelly Richmond Pope is an accounting professor who has investigated municipal spending. She says the brazenness is what caught her eye.
Who does this? Who lives this way so out loud? It's almost like, I dare you to ask. I dare you to ask me. And I'm just shocked that a leader would think that they could get away with this type of behavior and that no one's going to ask them about it.
We out here in Taste of Thornton. Yeah, keep raining, but it's still going on.
Trustees for both of the governments headed by Henyard have now limited special event and credit card spending, but it may be too little, too late. Dalton is laying off workers after trustees discovered the village is millions in the hole.
We sort of knew we were in a bind, but not to this extent. This is devastating.
Federal prosecutors charged Keith Freeman with bankruptcy fraud. He's now cooperating with trustees investigating Henyard's spending, but he denies he's working with the feds. Freeman declined to comment. The FBI's investigation into Henyard marches on.
Right, and so the former police chief, Lacy, who has been fired, who refused to go, she says that he's still the police chief. No, he's not. At this point, he is impersonating a police officer. He has no business wearing that outfit. And then for him to come in there and talk to the officers, telling them that if they don't listen to him, at this point, it's insubordination. Really? Because according to the vote by the board, you're not the chief. They do not have any business listening to him whatsoever. This makes no sense to me that this is how they want to run a town. It's as if it's some sort of mobbed up situation. You know what I mean? She hires all of her friends and family. She's got the police chief in her back pocket. She's the mayor of this small town. She's going to go through, bully all the residents and, steal everybody's money. She's practically a bank robber. She's robbing the damn town. This woman is a pure menace to all of Dalton and Thornton Township. So the state has decided that since Dalton, the mayor is not turning over their records, the controller has decided to stop their payments. And I'm thinking to myself, so it only took 2 years of her and her team not sending you over the proper documents without sending you over their financial records for you to stop this? 2 years. Can you imagine how much money could be saved if they would have looked into this sooner? Who waits around 2 years for your local government to turn over the paperwork that's required? 2 years? This attorney of hers, he is a real joke, a real clown. First of all, who is he to be speaking at any of these board meetings? You are a federal criminal lawyer. Why are you there? Him being there just says she knows that she's up to no good. She knows the feds are watching, and she knows that she's going to be in a whole lot of trouble. I'm just going to bring, my federal defense attorneys to board meetings with me. Get out of here. I think he's just as crooked as her. And you know what else? Something else that bothers me about this is she was a trustee before she became the mayor. I feel as if she became a trustee so that she could see the interworkings of the system and of the board so that she can then run to become mayor and rob the place blind. They're just going to try to blame this abuse of power and this overspending of town money, this frivolous spending of town money on Freeman. Freeman was her guy. She was rooting for him. She wanted him to be there by her side the entire time when the board was saying he's not doing his job, he's not turning over receipts, he's not giving us what we need. She was his biggest cheerleader while he was standing behind the BS, allowing her to rob the town blind. But once he got indicted for his bankruptcy fraud and started talking to the board and started talking to the FBI, all of a sudden it's on him. He's the one who did it. He's the one who was in charge of the credit cards, putting the full blame on him. But she's in charge, remember? She's in control. At the end of the day, she is the mayor. So the buck stops with you. You are responsible for all of this frivolous spending. People of Dalton, the public, everyone deserves better than this. They really do. And it's so crazy because I do work for a bank. We can't spend anything on our business credit cards without documentation. Nothing. You are not going to spend over $25 without having a full, detailed receipt. This lady can spend over $9 million of the people's money and get away with it. She's getting away with this. Her lawyer's saying that she's under attack. No, she's not being attacked. The people are asking for accountability. The people want to know what the hell she's doing with their money. Traveling around America, first class, staying at 5-star hotels, eating at top-of-the-line restaurants, and shopping, getting her hair done, taking all of these photo shoots all over social media, living the life on the backs of the people is bullshit. It's also illegal. That is illegal. And one of the ladies made a comment. She says some things she does might be legal, but is it ethical? Nothing this lady does is ethical. None of it. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's not hiding it. She thinks she's going to get away with it. Or maybe she doesn't. Maybe she realizes at some point the feds are going to come. She's going to go to jail, so she's living it up while she can. I have no idea. Either that or it's some kind of competition to see how much she can steal. All the time that she sits up there, the board is questioning her, the residents question her, and she just continues to say, get the facts, facts versus fiction. I'm the mayor, I'm in charge, I'm the leader. That is correct. And when the FBI comes and arrests you, I hope that you also let them know that you are the mayor. You're in charge. You're the leader. You're in charge of all of this wrongdoing, all of the misappropriation of funds, all of the bullying, the ticketing residents, shutting down people's businesses because they won't donate to your campaign, not allowing people to renew their business licenses because they are not contributing to your campaign. I hope that you're willing to admit to all of that when the feds come knocking, since you are in charge. She has not been able to give any transparency, no accountability. She's not responsible at all. She refuses to admit that she's responsible for anything.
South suburban politician Tiffany Henyard has lost another key ally. Until recently, Henyard enjoyed near unanimous support on the Thornton Township Board, but now trustee Carmen Carlisle says after trusting Henyard and remaining silent, she will be a whistleblower against Henyard. Carlisle released a statement to WGN that reads in part, for the past 2 years, Henyard has manipulated employees, vendors, and residents using her position to increase her influence, all while projecting a false image of success funded by the hardworking taxpayers of Thornton Township and the village of Dalton. Henyard shows no accountability or conscience for her actions against employees or taxpayers. Henyard has denied wrongdoing and claims her opponents are out for what she calls clickbait.
Okay, so this whistleblower trustee, I think at this time she's just trying to cover her butt. But also I did see at one of the board meetings, she did get into it with Tiffany. She said that the blinders are off her eyes. She says that when they came to Tiffany to question her about that Tiffany Cares Foundation, which has been shut down by the Attorney General, she said that Tiffany lied and said that she was not a part of that charity foundation. It was just in her name. And she said that Tiffany and her friends came to her house and tried to bully her into saying that Tiffany didn't know anything about the charity. However, she said Tiffany was right there when Keith Friedman signed all the paperwork and set everything up. So she says she knows that Tiffany is a liar and a user. And that is why she says the blinders are off and she's going to start working with, I guess, the feds to explain to them exactly how the inner workings work with their super mayor. Now, that is paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what she said. I'm glad that she has decided to help out the feds and help out the people, but I wish she would have came forward sooner, because this has been going on for quite some time, and I believe that she's known about this for a very long time.
Meeting in Dalton leads to even more controversy, this time over a new hire.
Not only did Mayor Tiffany Henyard make the hire without consent from the board, we're learning tonight the newest employee has a storied past.
Dane Placco has been following this. He joins us now with this exclusive story. Dane.
Yeah, within hours of Mayor Tiffany Henyard appointing a new village administrator last night, allegations were surfacing about his background, including some startling allegations of inappropriate behavior.
My next appointment will be for village administrator.
Last night, Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard appointed a new top aide to a $100,000 a year job without board consent. 34-year-old Michael A. Smith, who's been active in South suburban politics for years.
The reason for Mike is he have a wealth of great information. He's a young person and ex-politician. He knows the laws like the back of his hand.
Perhaps that's because Smith has been in and out of trouble with the law for years. Public reporting shows Smith has been charged at least 8 times with crimes ranging from domestic battery to official misconduct. In 2012, Smith, then a young trustee in Dixmoor, resigned after pleading guilty to theft when he allegedly stole gasoline by posing as a police officer. Then in 2018, Smith was working as an assistant dean at Thornton Fractional High School when he was fired for sexual harassment of a female student, grooming a student with lascivious intent, and inappropriate aggressive behavior towards a male student. According to his termination letter, Smith was accused of contacting a 15-year-old female student on Snapchat with inappropriate comments and making her his girlfriend.
We have a constant pattern of her hiring people without doing a proper background check and presenting it to the board. And that's our issue. That could pose a great danger to our community.
Dalton trustees Brittany Norwood and Tammy Brown
is alarming.
Were not at last night's meeting when Smith was appointed. The 4 Dalton trustees opposed to Henyard postponed the meeting and say none of the action taken was legal.
It's very interesting, considering the fact that she didn't have a quorum. So I don't understand how someone could be appointed.
Smith is replacing Henyard's previous hand-picked village administrator, Keith Freeman, who fell out of favor after he was charged with bankruptcy fraud and is now believed to be cooperating with an FBI investigation into Henyard. But Freeman is apparently still on the village payroll and filling the job.
So can you have a second village administrator?
No. We don't have the finances for that. As you all know, we are definitely in a financial bind, and we cannot afford 2 village administrators.
Now, late this afternoon, Smith responded to these allegations through Bo Brindley, who is serving as Henyard's criminal defense attorney in her other case. Smith saying through Brindley that he was cleared of any wrongdoing in the matter at Thornton Fractional High School by DCFS. He also says all the charges in those other cases we talked about were dropped, save one in which he pled guilty and paid a $50 fine. And he goes on to say, and this is through the mayor's statement, says Mayor Henyard renounces efforts by any individual to denounce a man's character based on unfounded allegations and charges that have been dismissed. Now, Smith was already working today at Dalton Village Hall when we stopped by there earlier. Trustees say they are going to try to block that appointment when they meet again. Live downtown, Dane Placco, Fox 32 Chicago.
Village staff members tonight.
She did it at a meeting that she says trustees who oppose her tried to cancel. WGN's Jenna Barnes has more.
Well, one of those appointees is a new village administrator, even though there's already an administrator, a former Henyard ally, Keith Freeman, currently doing the job. This all happening at a meeting the Board of Trustees postponed until next week, a move that Henyard's lawyer says is illegal. So she went ahead without them tonight.
The Open Meetings Act says, you know what you got to do to cancel one of these meetings? You got to give 10 days of notice. 10 days of notice to the public. Certainly notice to the mayor. You know what they did? They didn't give you any notice at all.
Just today, Attorney General Kwame Raoul's office found Dalton violated the Open Meetings Act at its June and July meetings after complaints from residents that Henyard's administration limited seating, blocked the entrances to Village Hall with barriers, and created a hostile environment. The acting police chief at the time cited threats to Henyard's safety, including a letter mailed to Henyard's mom's house that was written in blue marker. It stated, "See you in prison. Your mother raised a loser. Your mother is a loser." The AG's office finding that the letter mailed from Rhode Island was the only evidence that the board provided in support of the manner in which it conducted the meetings in question. The letter was critical and insulting, but it did not implicitly or explicitly threaten violence. More importantly, the letter did not arrive until after the two meetings occurred. Tonight's meeting, if you can call it that, was much less attended. We counted fewer than 20 people who showed up.
Just pay attention to who bring all the drama to your community. Where all the hecklers that's normally in the crowd, they're not here today. Where everybody that got something to say when everybody up here talking, giving their opinion. That's how you know everybody are plants in the audience.
And just last week in Thornton Township, Supervisor Tiffany Henyard couldn't hold a meeting because the trustees there didn't show up amid ongoing power struggles in both of the governments that Henyard runs. In Dalton, Jenna Barnes.
All right, so you think this new hire is bad? She's done this before.
Residents of South Suburban Dalton reacting to a Fox 32 investigation that found a new village employee with a dangerous criminal past.
He is a registered child sex offender, and he's now been hired by the village to go into people's homes and businesses.
Now, furious village trustees are taking steps to curb the mayor's power. Fox 32's Dane Placco broke the story, and he has the latest from Dalton.
What is the situation involving your background?
Well, my background, a childhood background, over 30 years ago.
46-year-old Lavelle Redmond wasn't happy to see us when we encountered him today behind Dalton Village Hall. But listen again to the person on the phone telling him to stop talking.
30 years ago.
We don't know who that is, but we do know who got Redmond his village job. Redmond is close to new Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard and worked on her campaign. Records obtained by Fox 32 show that on September 20th, Redmond was hired as a code enforcement officer for the village of Dalton, a job that gives him access inside homes and businesses, which is why Dalton residents were shocked when we showed them what we found online.
Oh my God. Don't they supposed to do background checks before they allow these people in these kind of positions?
One would think, right?
Yes.
That's because Redmond is listed as a child sex offender on the Illinois State Police Registry. He served 24 years of a 50-year sentence for taking part in the brutal gang rape and beating of two young girls in the Roseland neighborhood in 1991. News reports at the time say Redmond was one of 4 young men who kidnapped the girls and took them to an abandoned garage where they were sexually assaulted and beaten with boards and guns.
I would be terrified to know now if he had come to my house to do a code inspection. I would be terrified.
That's crazy. I don't know. He won't get in my house, though.
Dalton trustees say Redmond was hired directly by Mayor Henyard and her village administrator, former Cook County Circuit Court Clerk Dorothy Brown. Did the trustees have any input in this hire?
No, the trustees have not had any input on any hire since the swearing in of this administration.
We tried talking to Mayor Henyard, but a police officer in front of her home told us we couldn't knock on the door. Later, the mayor issued a statement. I and the village of Dalton take the safety of our residents very serious, and we would never put our residents in jeopardy. In regard to the matter of the employee who's the subject of recent news stories, know that the incident referred to occurred nearly 30 years ago, and they paid their debt to society. We believe that a person can be rehabilitated, and we believe in second chances.
You know, I'm for second chances, but the fact that he's on the registry and the fact that
He's going inside of homes. That's what caused an alarm and caused concern for me in regards to my safety and the rest of the residents.
In Dalton, Dane Placco, Fox 32 Chicago.
You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. First of all, you cannot have a new administrator when you already have one. They have started to lay people off because they can't afford to pay people. So how are you hiring? How are you going to have two people doing the same job? This mayor is doing absolutely nothing to calm the waters in town or to let any of the residents think that things are taking a turn for the better. She behaves like a thug. She hires thugs. Not to mention, one of her, I can't remember the exact title. I think he's over water and sewer. He's a drill rapper when he's not working for the water and sewer. And he's a friend of hers. How do you hire a drill rapper / gang member, allegedly? I'm saying allegedly because I don't know these people personally, but what the hell is this? She's got her boyfriend on the payroll who seems to be the town bully. I don't even get this. In one news report, the reporter says that he couldn't get to see her or talk to her because she's got a police guard outside of her house. She's got those 3 SUVs. First of all, why are you not driving your regular car? The mayor of my town, he drives his regular car and he doesn't have armed security. The police are not with him in front of his home, driving him from here to there, traveling with him. It doesn't happen. And we're a pretty big city. This is all a bunch of bullshit. There's no reason that you need 3 SUVs, police escorts. Oh my gosh. No class whatsoever. There is definitely going to be a 3-part Netflix docuseries about this as soon as the FBI comes and her trial is over. That comment she made about can't be stopped, a federal judge can stop you. The FBI can stop you. The guy that she hired who had the record for the S offender, that really took me all the way out. She says that, people deserve a second chance. You're giving this guy a second chance to do this again when he comes into someone's home. People's children are at risk. You cannot do something like this. First of all, if he's a S offender, which clearly he is, he's not even supposed to be around children. He is not supposed to be within certain feet of a school, a home. He's supposed to be registered. You want to give him a second chance? Hire him down at that restaurant that you own. Do that. But don't hire him as an inspector going in and out of people's homes. Not only that, with her being friends with him, that's kind of something that you would think about. You're the mayor and the village supervisor. Who the hell are these criminals that you hang out with? And you spend all your time being followed and secured by the police. Are the police friends with these same said friends that you keep hiring? All of them seem to be completely dirty. This lady is a pitiful excuse for a mayor or village supervisor. She is running the town into the ground. She takes no accountability. The governor is not holding her accountable at all. You would think that even after Lori Lightfoot came out with her report that she is in the whole $3.5 million or $3.6 million, that the governor would have said, wait a minute, she's out of here. And once we get this investigation going, she's going to jail. I realize that we should always try to give a person a hand up. I think that everybody is entitled to a second chance. Some people need a third chance, and I think that they should get it. But this isn't the job for this guy or the other guy. They both have sex offender backgrounds, sexual harassment for the other guy, and this guy was a sex offender. These are not appropriate jobs for these 2 individuals. If you want to hire them, first get board approval. If the board approves, then put them in your office where they can be watched by your police officers. Put their office right by your office. You know, the cops are always there. And then you know no one else is being assaulted, but not out with the people that you're robbing.
Urban politician Tiffany Henyard threw a bash this weekend. She's trying to silence her critics amidst an ongoing federal investigation into her spending and leadership.
And it is as investigative reporter Ben Bradley found, like many of Henyard's events, taxpayers are left footing some of the bill.
Hey guys, hey! It's your super mayor, Tiffany A. Henyard, the people's mayor.
The super mayor took to social media to promote her party. There was a bounce house, skating, and a food giveaway.
But I spend my own money to make sure that I put on for my city. So I always put my money where my mouth is.
Henyard said she paid after trustees refused. They're trying to control her spending and were skittish because the event was advertised as the Friends of Tiffany Henyard Picnic. That's also the name of her campaign fund. Her lawyer denies it was a political event, but it's clear the bash was meant to bolster Henyard's image as she faces a federal investigation into her spending in Dalton, where she's the mayor, and Thornton Township, where she's the supervisor.
And for those that don't know, let me make sure I'm crystal clear about this. I ain't never took a damn thing in my life. So I want to make sure y'all hear it out of my mouth.
Let's start with the party's location. It was held at a skating rink Henyard commissioned in Dalton with an initial estimated cost of $269,000. WGN Investigates had to sue Dalton to get Henyard's administration to release credit card records, and we noticed a $17,000 charge to a roller skate wholesaler.
I'm thinking that's for the roller skates that the residents never got a chance to use.
Dalton trustee Tammy Brown says Henyard's rink doesn't keep regular hours. Skycam 9 flew over on a beautiful Friday evening, and no one was there.
It's only open when she's there or she's having an event.
At Tuesday night's meeting, trustee Andrew Holmes resurfaced. The Henyard ally is under investigation after a village employee accused him of sexual assault on a taxpayer-funded trip to Las Vegas. He denies wrongdoing and defends Henyard's leadership.
If it's anything that was criminally done, it would be out there. The children are having fun, the families are having fun, and things are getting done.
This was in the box. We got greens. We got greens, beans, potatoes, you name it. Look at that.
Henyard frequently promotes the township's food pantry, but she's been accused of distributing the boxes with campaign messages. The Greater Chicago Food Depository performed a spot check Tuesday and reminded the township its food can't be used to promote a politician.
None of that food comes from the Chicago Food Depository, so they called us about your fake complaints the other day. We already got all that straight.
That's Keith Price, who runs the food pantry. He tells WGN Investigates the food boxes came from township surplus.
But y'all missing the biggest point. You got people like myself that care about community that people try to stop. People will always try to stop things they cannot control. That's what it's all about. Someone young, vibrant, energetic like myself, who cannot and will not be bought, is the one that's constantly moving forward.
Henyard has frequently been accused of mixing political and public money. Those newly obtained spending records show Dalton taxpayers footed the bill for more than $8,000 worth of hotel rooms during an event for Henyard's namesake cancer charity last year. The charity has now been shut down by the Illinois Attorney General.
God wanted me to lead the people. God knew that I wouldn't take no mess. He knew that I would stand strong in the fire for you.
The dysfunction in Dalton grows as trustees opposed to Henyard wrestle for control. The housing director says he's been locked out of computer systems, and there are questions about who currently has access to the village's bank accounts. Trustees opposed to Henyard say they're working to cobble together a budget that will begin to dig Dalton out of a multi-million-dollar deficit.
Tonight, another week, another party for South Suburban politician Tiffany Henyard. Despite her opponent's efforts to limit her spending, Henyard recently threw a big bash.
As investigative reporter Ben Bradley found, it cost taxpayers more than $100,000.
The self-proclaimed super mayor is also apparently a super fan. She flew in nationally known R&B singer Keke Wyatt to headline the Taste of Thornton Township last month. There were other performers plus daytime events for kids, but given the fury over Tiffany Henyard's spending, we were curious what the event cost. WGN Investigates obtained the bills through open records laws. They show Kiki Wyatt was paid $30,000 for a 30-minute performance. Rapper Jay Holiday made $20,000 for a half-hour set. A talent booking agency billed the township another $50,000 for other performers that day. Records show the entire single-day event cost South Suburban taxpayers more than $135,000.
I was flabbergasted. I was pissed off. That's my money. That's the people's money.
That was a flop. It might have been approximately 65 to 70 people there.
We out here at Taste of Thornton. Yeah, keep raining, but it's still going on. Right now they got the comedians up there.
To be clear, Henyard's predecessor also threw a Taste of Thornton Township event, but not on this scale.
But see, this all for the babies. This is what they don't show you. They don't show you this side of Tiffany Henyard. The productivity.
She liked to use our tax dollars to promote herself. She have all of these events trying to buy the voters.
After a year's worth of WGN Investigates reporting, detailing first-class travel, meals, and more that's now sparked a federal investigation, trustees in the two governments run by Henyard have tried to stop the spending. Even her former assistant, who's now a township trustee, recently said enough is enough.
I trusted the administration. I trusted the process. And the moment I didn't trust the process, I started asking questions.
Henyard has a habit of claiming to be the boss in one moment, but denying responsibility in others. It recently sparked this reaction.
I do not want a credit card. I do not deal with money. I don't deal with anything.
Tiffany is a narcissist, and she is going to do what she wants to do. I feel like she knows that this is over, but she's going to go down kicking and screaming like an MMA fighter. She's just not going to stop until they put cuffs on her.
Most of the contracts for this event were signed before township trustees put spending controls in place. So it's possible the concert and other activities were something of a last hurrah for Tiffany Henyard, at least as far as parties go. The federal investigation continues. Even if she's charged, that won't expel her from office. It would take a conviction to do that, but voters will have their say when she's on the ballot next spring.
Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard tried to conduct business as usual. WGN's Jenna Barnes has details.
Thornton Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard is finding a way to spend money that trustees say they intentionally did not approve, one describing it to me tonight as a shell game.
Is there a motion to approve the Gospel Fest?
Motion failed.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the House Fest?
Event after event denied for Thornton Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard under an ordinance designed to rein in spending.
Residents love the events that we do here at Thornton Township. And prior to me, y'all have always had events. So I don't understand why it's a problem now that Tiffany Henyard is the supervisor.
The trustees say they won't greenlight the events because there's no approved budget yet.
Can't continue to spend money without that in place.
The most recent cost causing concern, Henyard's Taste of Thornton Township last month. WGN Investigates obtained records that show singer Kiki Wyatt was paid $30,000 to sing for 30 minutes. Rapper Jay Holiday made $20,000 for a half-hour set. When you factor in staff, equipment, and other expenses, the total cost is at least $85,000, which is lower than WGN Investigates initially reported, but still raising questions.
Extraordinary amount of money was spent unnecessarily.
Trustees voting not to approve thousands of dollars in expenditures for Taste of Thornton and other Henyard events, money that's already been spent.
A lot of that spending was done on credit cards. We just don't agree with so much being put on credit cards. And then also recently it looks like even stuff that we voted not to pay then was put onto credit cards. So it's just kind of almost like a shell game, unfortunately.
What the fuck is up with this shit here?
And then she makes that comment, God chose me. Don't bring the good Lord into this. Also, I noticed that one of the residents left a message and she said, and I quote, "The food boxes came from Thornton Township surplus. As a disabled senior citizen who occasionally gets a box of groceries delivered by the township, I can tell you firsthand that my box never looked like that. Secondly, there are a lot of villages in Thornton Township. So why are these events always being held in Dalton when Thornton Township's main office is in South Holland?" Now, that is a senior citizen who gets these boxes. I believe this lady. I know those boxes don't always look like that. And I know that these events that she has, she holds them right there in Dalton so that she can have the news media come out and she can act like she is the best mayor and she's doing the best for the people. And I guarantee you that all of those things, the bouncy house, all of that stuff, the food boxes, she did not pay for that. That money did not come out of that woman's pocket. I tell you what, the only thing bigger than that woman's ego is their negative balance at the bank. And why is she having community events? Why are you still having community events? Your town is $3.5 million in debt and you are still holding these events, still trying to do senior bingo and different raffles. Get the hell out of here with this. What you should be doing is trying to figure out how are you going to turn this around before they come and put the handcuffs on you. I have no idea what's taking the FBI so long to get a handle on this case and get her out of office, but they need to move quickly. She is running for re-election, and I hear that their election is in February. She is out doing campaign events, and there are a lot of people in the town, mainly the elderly, who believe in her. They think that she's giving away all these big prizes at bingo. She's coming out and having our grass cut. She's doing all of these small, tiny things for the senior citizens. And a lot of them think that this is wonderful and that she's such a good girl and that everything that they're seeing at the meetings and on the news is fake news because that's what she's telling them. And I really hate to see what she's doing to the people.
You're not going to understand until they put those cuffs on you. You're not going to understand it. You don't care. But baby, they on to you.
It is a shame that we, the public, can't ask you anything about the BMWs, the Range Rovers, all of that. It's like you're keeping all of that hidden from the taxpayers, and we pay for those.
You guys are following fiction, a made-up story. It is a smear campaign going on right now.
Watching as this village being ran into the ground by this woman is pissing me off.
The fact that you would even make us get up out of our chairs after we already sat down and got comfortable to even go back through a metal detector because you wasn't here on time to say that, oh, they shouldn't have been let in. No, you should have been here to let us in.
People that say things about me, I want you to prove it. Because, like I say, fact versus fiction.
You lied to us as residents. You do not stand for me. And I want you to step down as mayor today and save our village from this deficit that you have caused.
The mayor can blame everybody for what's going on, but she has to look at herself. Nobody told her to get on TV and lie like that.
Everybody cares about the person that's making the mess.
Henyard placing the blame elsewhere.
But only judge when you got both sides of the story, not one-sided narratives, which is negative narratives.
I beg you, please stop.
Anyway, you guys, get down in the comments and let me know what you think. And we'll keep an eye on Dalton and Thornton Township. We'll also do a little digging into the other town in Illinois and find out what the heck is their mayor up to. Oh, the governor really needs to step in. Anyway, get down in the comments, let me know what you think. And until next time, bye.